time it is. It's time for the Business Coach Sunday sittings. It is the 27th of November, year 2016, just a day before the bond notes come into circulation. And in the studio this evening, we have a man, not just a man, but an executive coach. He's also an author, he's a motivational speaker, he's an entrepreneur, he's an MC. And one of the key notes that he's going to share with the rest of the nation is the coming on board of the bond note, so that you can understand where we're coming from as a nation and where we are going. Him having done that, seen that, he holds a Bible school diploma. He also has a Masters of Business Intelligence, honors in psychology, certified life coach, is a marketing manager. Welcome to the studio, Tafadzwa Mukoi, sir.
Thank you very much, Chedi. What a pleasure to be here. Hello, Zimbabwe.
Honored to have you in the studio together with our usual suspect, Simon Bere. Good evening, Simon, and welcome to the Business Coach.
Good evening, Zimbabwe. Good evening, Eddie. Hello.
Hey, Simon.
All right. This weekend we saw the nation also receiving rains. I think in most parts of the nation, and we are also heading for a new dispensation. They're coming on of the bond note, and as this program being a business-minded program, where we interact with the clients, we interact with the business owners, the managers, everyone who runs a business. I feel that it is also time that we look at what is happening in our nation, because yes, Tafadzwa can come here and start talking about how best he can consult or what ideas he can bring to your company. But we have an issue that has arisen, and it really needs a lot of players to come in and make sure that the right word is spoken, because it's all about the word, isn't it? If one says no, that means no. One says yes, that's yes. So what's your take on that?
Well, I actually don't know if it's about the word, Ed. It's more about the question. I think it's about the question. What are we saying now that the bond notes are coming tomorrow?
Yes.
Tomorrow is a big day. It's a day that certain people are going to rise, others are going to fall. Mm-hmm. And I think the issue is not even the word, who's going to say what to you, is what you say to yourself. It's the questions that you ask yourself. Mm-hmm. I'm excited about the bond notes coming, and I'm not here to promote them, but I'm here to look at it from a point of view of that it is a new dispensation where almost everybody is going to restart in terms of your mindset. And you see, what's happening is that I love coaching because, already people are walking in tomorrow, are waking up tomorrow defeated. While some of us are waking up ready to explore the immense opportunities that the bond notes are bringing. So that's why I said it's more of a question than it is a word, Eddie. The question that I would ask as a coach is to say, right, what is your plan now that the bond notes are coming? My brother, just to let you know, I've got a client that I'm coaching. They have said to me that they would like to make 100,000 bond notes dollars within the first 100 days of the release of the bond notes.
Does that plan already?
They've got a plan. You see, everybody else is busy thinking that people are complaining and not happy and all the things that are going on in the media and so forth. Other people have got solid plans, have engaged professional coaches to help them achieve this very thing that they want to achieve.
Okay.
In 100 days, imagine 100 grand in 100 days.
So we are looking at February, March next year that results should start being seen.
In actual fact, results should start happening tomorrow.
Okay.
Because the plan is in place. The moment they step out, you see the thought process from a business perspective, Eddie, and my brother Simon will help me here, is that the concept is not about the currency. It's about what is the value that you're bringing to the table that can be exchanged for a currency. And so many people are thinking that, I'm going to be able to I won't be able to achieve the things that I want to achieve. And the reason why they're thinking like that is because they've got nothing that they have set aside or planned to exchange for value. And so this person I'm coaching, imagine, Eddie, we've got 10 provinces
that you have to go through
in Zimbabwe. If we say 100,000, we've got 10 provinces. Already we're saying $10,000
per province.
per province in the 100 days. And then we break it down. The question is, what is it of value that you're bringing? Then we can scale it up for you.
Wow, 100,000 is a lot of money, my brother. I know. So, I
But
think,
it takes a million of us.
after this program, we also need to sit down to say in the next 2-3 days, how much money can I also get?
Now, let me tell you the exciting thing about coaching now, Eddie.
Yes.
You see, I like the concept that you said 100,000 is a lot of money, my brother.
Yes.
But that is, for this person, this is realistic for them.
Yes.
As coaches, we don't judge what you want. What you want, we explore it with you, we give it our best shot, and then we achieve it.
Okay.
Come to think of it, you're probably, I haven't done the maths correctly, but it's probably making $100 per day per province.
Which is achievable at the end of the day.
And I'm glad now you're seeing it. It's because our role as coaches is that we break it down for you to make it achievable. And we hold you to account to the very thing that you want. Why would you desire something that you not want to reach out for? But I know as one of the fundamental principles of coaching is that we believe that everybody has got an innate ability to be able to achieve the things that they want to achieve.
Okay. On your profile, you write that, as a coach, you want to meet someone and then evaluate where they are, or they tell you where the level where they are. And, they should also come out to be honest and tell you where they want to be. There are times where someone will tell you, what, in the next 200 days, I want to be able to make $2 million or $5 million. And then when you look at the plan, you can see that this is nonsense, to say the least.
I say we don't judge. But
I know, but you see, we want to talk realistic.
Absolutely.
Here. Yes.
Now, what is important for us as coaches is that, first of all, we want to make it very clear, is that we don't give you a desire. You tell us what you want.
Okay.
We partner with you, and then we take you from where you are to where you want to go. That's the role of a coach.
Okay.
And so there are three key, or maybe more. I'll talk about three key levels of understanding the question that you've asked.
Yes.
Number one, we've got tools that we use for assessment. We've got psychometric tests. We've got a lot of other psychological tests, performance tests. It really depends on what the desire is, and then we assess you. Beyond that, we ask you very powerful questions that make us understand where you are in terms of your worldview, your perspectives, your paradigms before you even start. And then, obviously, you tell us where you think you are. So, in actual fact, there are many tools that can be used, 360-degree models, plenty. But the point is that when we assess you, we then use your assessment to reflect to you where you stand. If you're in agreement, if you're in disagreement, we work it through, and then we're able to move from there. But once we've done that, given your assessment, and a simple assessment is your strengths. I mean, I talk about the 3 E's. I talk about your expertise, your experience, and your exposure. I mean, if you are thinking that Zimbabwe is Harare, it tells you that you're thinking too small. If you think the world is Zimbabwe and South Africa, it's too small. So we want to think about scalability. So all of that comes into play. But of course, when we talk about expertise, we're talking about competitiveness. We're not just talking. This is not about waking up and just wishing for things. This is serious business.
Yes.
And the fourth element that I would like to share about quickly in terms of assessment, it is that I will assess whether you're coachable or not. And I promise you, I have a choice to coach you or not. It's not like I do not have things to do. I'm coaching because this is a business. I do this professionally. And if you don't do the things that we agree on doing, is that we're going to ruin my reputation as a coach. So I partner with people that want to do the things that they want to do. Integrity becomes important. And when you come to a coaching engagement with me, you've got to come with an attitude that says, I am going to win, I'm going to do the things that I'm going to do. And when I hold you to account, it's not personal, it's business. We want to get things done, and so we get things done. No excuses.
Wow. 18 minutes up before 7. I'm sure if you're listening, you must have taken notes there that this road, the minute you desire to be on that road, it means you have to be serious. And as the coach is in the studio, a man who has written books. How many books have you written so far?
Oh, so far I've published 3.
Okay.
I'm writing at least 5 some more.
5 more books coming up.
But you see, because I'm a very interesting character, I believe that, you know, when I set my mind on doing anything, I do it. And every day I see things. The latest book that I'm writing now is called Coaching the African Brother. So, but the point I'm trying to drive at is that I'm not. In terms of personality, we're talking about personality tests and so forth. I'm a very extroverted kind of person, non-structured, and so I can write as I am driving, and I'll just put my recorder and just say what I want to say. I can write on my phone in between a meeting, and then over a period of time, I just put all my thoughts together and I publish.
When is that book due?
There we go. You see, that's your structure coming in.
Yes.
When it's ready, it will be out.
60 minutes before 7 in the studio. We're also joined in by Simon. Simon, last week we also looked at the levels of people that you need to consult. And then we looked at the coach. We also looked at the consultant, and there's other levels that I'm sure because of time that we failed to touch on. But tonight we just specifically want to look at the coach. What is it that the coach does, or what is it that the coach brings to an individual, brings to an organization? Yes.
Yeah, I want to add to what Tafati was saying. One of the things you touched a very good point, and also you asked about what if a person comes and says he wants to make $1 million in a month?
Yes.
And we have been there. So we know some of these things. Normally, when you are taught about thinking big, dream big, we think we must also act big at the same time. And normally, people want to achieve certain goals, but where we lack is in the numbers. We don't break down the numbers and see how feasible those numbers are in relation to your skill, in relation to your capacity, in relationship to time, because certain things need time. You can't just wake up from today. You have no experience. Your level of thinking probably is different, and you've got a different mode of thinking, which is different from what you need for you to achieve that goal. You can't expect that goal to be achieved in 30 months or so.
Yes.
So the coach is there, like what you say, he's not judging you, but is there to give perspective and to help you assess how best you can achieve that goal, in terms of the resources you need, in terms of the time that you need, in terms of the skills that you need, in terms of the resources, the people that you need. So that's what the coach is doing. He's providing you with the guidance, because most people know what they want to achieve, but normally the how to becomes the problem.
Well, let me just add on to what Simon has been saying. You see, there are 2 real concepts that we need to look at when we're looking at goal setting, in terms of the implementation of the things that we've agreed on doing. And bear in mind, I've said we've agreed on. It's not me instructing you.
Yes.
It's you agreeing, and we set a plan together. The first and most important thing is modeling. You cannot go where you do not have capacity. So when we assess you, we want to see what have you done so far? What has worked for you? How many tomatoes have you sold before, and how has it worked for you? How many freezers have you sold? It's raining. How many umbrellas? How many raincoats have you sold? What is your thought process in terms of all this? Then we model. We create a model, because what we model and we match and we exceed. That's the first thing. And the second thing that we do is very important, where many people struggle, is we look at the change orientation. Now that we've seen that this is how you've been doing habitually, what is it that needs to change in terms of yourself, your environment, the very thing that you think is of value? And so we look at the whole 360 of what needs to change, and that change orientation then also leads you into your greatness.
Wow. 30 minutes before 7. So, in a nutshell, you are saying that it comes back to the mind, isn't it? Is this person's mind prepared to to move from where they are? It's like taking me, say for instance, I grew up in Gweru, and then I only moved here in 2001. So, but you see, there are people who are still in other towns or still in other countries, and they'll be saying, "No, moving to Zimbabwe, no, I don't think I can make it." You see, so already they have given themselves a target to say, either I can do it or I can't do it. You see.
And you ask if it is about the mind. It's not just about the mind, but the mind is a very powerful tool.
Yes.
I think there are lots of things that we can look at, but I'll start from there. I'll start from the mind. The mind is in terms of the way you think, and we talk about your self concept, your self belief, your self efficacy, your self view. There are lots of things that we look at in terms of the mind, even your self-limiting beliefs. Okay, so from the mind, we then go to your willingness. Are you willing to do what needs to be done? Okay, because it's one thing to say this is, I'm an amazing speaker, but are you willing to go and stand for 6-7 hours at a wedding and being an MC? Are you willing to prepare that speech? Are you willing to do the PowerPoint presentation? Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to go the extra mile? Are you willing to think outside the box? Whatever it is, what is your willingness to achieve this? And thereafter, we are then saying how much. You see, in coaching, we talk about potential performance, and then we also talk about actual performance. And it is that gap that we need to cover up. And so at the end of the day, we ask you, how much are you going to put in? It's not willingness, it's not your mindset, it's getting down, getting your hands dirty, and doing the things that you need to do. I could have today, Ed said, hey, I'm going to be with Simon and Ed on radio, and I get excited, and my mindset is, yes, I'm prepared. If I didn't leave my home to come here, it's nothing. And even when I got here, and I was just talking as if I've just found out what coaching is today. It talks about how much I've invested. You cannot give what you do not have.
True that.
And so I believe in hard work.
Yes.
But above that, many a time, there's another element that many people fail, and it's a very simple thing. It's leveraging, and it comes in your expertise. So I'm saying your mindset, 100%. I'm saying in terms of your willingness, I'm talking about your hard work, and then the fourth element is leverage. Because take, for example, right now, as I was coming here, in actual fact, I got a message just now. I just sent something on a social media page, and a couple of people said, hey, we'll be tuned in, and well done, Coach Taff. I don't need to create my own social media platform first before I communicate that I'm coming to be on radio. I leverage off the social media. So the question is, what are you leveraging off? And I'll give you let me give you 3 simple things that you can leverage off. It's OPP, other people's property. OPT, other people's time. And I've already talked about OP-Tech, other people's technology. I don't know what you need to do, but just leverage. So those are the 4 key things that I would use. Maybe it's 3 over and above your mindset view.
All right, 0778784222. That's our WhatsApp platform. We always love to hear your input regards to what we are talking about, what we're sharing on the program Business Coach. In the studio, we are joined by Simon Bere together with Coach Tafadzwa Mukoyi. All right, looking at the program that you run here, the 7-step coaching program, give us testimonies of some of the people that have come out, without really mentioning names or where they are. You see, because a lot of times people will be thinking, all right, what are they talking about? Are there any what can I say? Solutions that come out of this kind of programs? Because you see, it's easier for someone to just come in and say, I'm going to be doing A, B, C, D, like you said, the PowerPoint presentation. I can run a PowerPoint, 20 slides, and then there we are running, But what is it that people are going to achieve after seeing those slides, you see? So we want to now to look at, the results. What results are helping the nation as a whole?
Well, thank you so much for that. I indeed run a program that we won't mention names, but I've dealt with CEOs, former CEOs. I've dealt with chairmen of boards. I've dealt with students. I've dealt with housewives. I've dealt with different kinds of people in this program. You see, the first thing in terms of what we're talking about is that, like I said earlier on, is your competence. We need to identify the competence required to go to point B, from point A to point B. So what is the competence required? I hope I'm doing a good job, Eddie, in terms of being eloquent, being very smart and very witty and very, because that's a very important competence that you require when you're coming to speak.
Yes.
And more than that, I'm hoping that in the absence of seeing my audience, that I'm connecting with them at a heart level, I'm connecting with them at an intellect level and at different levels. So just saying that,
yes.
if I was coaching a speaker who's going to come on radio, I've already given you the competence requirements to be able to do that. But more than that, I'll be able to show you that this is how it looks like. This is how it looks like. So we look at what you think should be there, and I then look at what it should look like. But every time, the mind is a powerful tool. I'm glad my mom made sure that I went to university and did psychology, because your mind is amazing. You see, it then talks about the belief system. If you don't have the self-belief, if you don't believe that you can achieve it. So we then also look at the belief elements that are required, the fundamental beliefs, and then we also look at how you should perform so that we can be able to measure. And talking about measurement, the fifth step will be assessments. Okay? But I think the one that many people leave out and is important in coaching is the potential pitfalls, the self-limiting beliefs, the barriers,
yes.
the discouragements, the distractions, and so forth. I mean, take for example, you asked me a very important question. So Coach Taff, when are you writing? When is that next book coming?
Book, yes.
And between you and me, that was a fantastic excuse for me to use structure, as and I said I'm a non-structured person. But the truth of the matter is that when you look at distractions, it's more about time. If you spent, Eddie, 1 hour a day writing things down, I promise you, I can guarantee you, in 13 weeks you'll have content sufficient for a book.
Okay.
No. So I take that, but not 13 weeks. In 13 days, in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
If you spend 1 hour a day writing your thoughts, not researching, but pouring your heart out on pieces of paper, at the end of 2 weeks you'll have content enough for a book. I'm not saying you will have written a book. I'm saying you'll have content, because it then has to go through different stages,
yes.
of editing and so forth and so forth. But the point I'm driving at there is about distractions. The thing that stops people from achieving things are the pitfalls. For example, time. What time do you set aside? I mean, I knew I needed to be here. I set time aside to be here. I made sure that I cleared my diary, cleared everything, so that I'm not distracted. So that is an example of pitfalls. And then again, we look at the 360-degree feedback assessment, where we're saying your view, the people within your sphere of influence view, so that we can let you know how you're doing, and then we hold you to account. So you asked me, what are the success stories?
Yes.
I've got a housewife who recently came out, and she had a big plan of what she wanted to do with her life. And in a couple of already, in actual fact, 3 days ago, she launched her WhatsApp-based newsletter. And through coaching, we must understand that people have got different goals,
yes.
and people are at different stages in life. And so I also have a doctor who's well on track on starting his university that I've coached.
Wow.
It's amazing. I've got guys who have done network marketing, who we sat down together and they've grown their businesses. The point is that people have got different goals.
Yes.
I get to meet different kinds of people, but ultimately you ask the question, well, how does the 7-step work in
Yes.
terms of this? The key thing about this element is that, number one, we identify what are your traits. Then we look at your self-development, which is your self-leadership. And then we look at how you interact with people. And then the fourth one is how you get your hands dirty, which is work. And then obviously in terms of whether you're an organization or what, how those elements work.
Or for one to be able to achieve all this, what is required in terms of time? Because we mentioned about time, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of us, especially here in Zimbabwe, will say, "No, I don't have time. But when you go home, you sleep at 8 o'clock.
I'll tell you something. I've got a very interesting, when I do time coaching, one of the things that I'm glad I'm on national radio and I can share this. You see, people don't understand the difference between active time and downtime. You see, active time is like this. I can't multitask right now. You're firing me with questions, and for me to be active, I needed to be prepared. I need to have something.
Yes.
But you see, when I came earlier, when I went through security, and they asked me to wait in reception, when I sat there, in actual fact, I read 3 pages of a book in 15 minutes. I took 15 minutes to sit there, and as I was driving, just that today when I was driving, I wanted to hear what's going on, current news, so I was listening to the radio. But ordinarily, I'll throw in an audio book, because I'm actively driving, but my downtime, the question is, what do you do with your downtime? And then, having said that, then there's also an issue about prioritization. What is priority for you, such that you can be able to remove everything else and make that the thing that you want to do? I mean, there's a whole lot of things that we talk about in terms of time, and I'm sure Simon can chip in there.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there are 2 things. Is the physical time that we're talking about, and also the mental time. People think I don't have the time means I cannot be there physically. There's also a lot of time that is wasted mentally.
Yes.
When people are not focusing on what will help them achieve their goals, they are focusing, they're distracted on other things. Let me talk about the bond notes. The bond notes came in, I think we started hearing the talk about February somewhere. Up to now, people were so much soaked up. Their whole time is spent on the bond notes.
Instead of doing other things.
Yes, you know what? You have to assess these bond notes, and the government had said the bond note is coming. Whether people, we don't know whether they like it or not, but this is the solution we have. It's coming. So it's quickly getting up to speed with reality, and then saying, okay, this is the reality. What do I do next? So that you release your time from unnecessary, rationalization, analyzing what, getting yourself worked up emotionally because you are anxious about this. God knows what are they going to do. And I was saying to people, this is a discussion, right? Bond notes, what we are doing all now is not reality. The reality of the bond notes will only come when the bond notes are released. In the meantime, why don't you just accept it's coming, focus on other things, spend your time on more.
Coach Tafi, in a few seconds, round up.
Well, I'll round up with the very question you asked. There's another question I didn't answer in terms of leverage. Use other people's time.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure next week you will be back with us again. It is 7 o'clock, the news time on the station.